Okay, so we're diving deep into baby sleep today.
Oh, yes.
It can feel like a total mystery sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Like you're trying to solve a puzzle.
In the dark.
Yeah, in the dark with like a moving target.
Exactly. You're exhausted.
Yeah.
You're bombarded with advice from everyone.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Everyone's an expert.
Right, and meanwhile, your little one's like, nope, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Exactly. They have their own agenda.
Totally.
But you know what? I'm really excited because we have you here.
Well, thank you.
You're like a baby sleep guru.
Oh, I wouldn't say guru, but I've definitely spent a lot of time.
You've studied it. You've helped families.
I have.
You've seen it all.
A lot.
So let's start with the basics.
Sure.
Like newborns, they seem to have this whole different idea of what day and night is.
Yes, they do.
Why is that?
So it's all about their circadian rhythm.
Right.
You know, that's our internal clock as humans that tells us when to sleep, when to wake. Newborns, it's just not developed yet.
Oh, so it's not like they're trying to torture us.
Yeah. No, they're not being little devils.
Okay, good.
They're just doing what's developmentally normal for them at this stage.
I like to think of it as like their clock hasn't been set yet.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like they're on a different time zone.
Completely different time zone.
But here's something that's super interesting.
Okay.
Even though it feels like they're sleeping all the time,
They're already sleeping.
they actually sleep in shorter bursts than adults.
Really?
And they cycle between light and deep sleep more frequently.
That's probably why they wake up at like the drop of a pin.
Exactly. The slightest noise. And they're like, oh, what was that?
Yeah, exactly. And then you're up.
Exactly.
But all that sleep that they're getting,
yeah,
it's super important
it's
for it.
crucial. It's doing so much for their brain development.
Okay, so it's not just like cute that they're sleeping all the time.
It's not just for those adorable photos.
It's actually like really good for them.
They're building their brains while they sleep.
Okay, so let's talk numbers.
Okay.
How much should a newborn be sleeping?
A newborn typically sleeps 16 to 18 hours a day.
Wow.
But it's in these shorter bursts, right?
Okay.
Like he said, so often, just 2 to 4 hours at a time.
So it's like a constant cycle of feeding and
And
sleeping and...
And trying to catch a nap yourself when you can.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a marathon.
It is a marathon.
A sleep marathon.
The first few months are definitely a marathon.
But by 6 months,
Yes,
they're sleeping a little bit longer stretches, right?
they are. They start to get the hang of it a little bit more.
Okay.
So by 6 months, most babies are sleeping around 11 to 14 hours a day, including naps.
Okay, so there's hope.
There's hope for those longer stretches of sleep.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, definitely.
But I have heard so much about the importance of routine.
Yes.
With babies, does that actually make a difference?
Routines are so important for babies,
Okay.
especially when it comes to sleep.
In what way?
So it's all about creating this predictable, calming sequence of events before sleep.
So like a bedtime story.
A bedtime story, a warm bath, maybe a little lullaby.
I love a good lullaby.
Me too.
They're so soothing.
A gentle massage can also be really helpful,
Okay.
but the key is consistency.
Okay.
So same steps, same order every night.
Got it.
That predictability helps them understand what's coming next.
It signals to their little brains, okay, it's time to wind down.
Exactly. It's like, okay, this is what happens now. It's time for sleep.
All right, so consistency is key.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes.
But what about their environment?
The sleep environment.
Yeah.
Oh, it plays a huge role.
Does it?
Huge. So you want to create a sleep sanctuary for your baby.
A sanctuary.
Think about it. You sleep better in a comfortable environment, right? Babies are the same way.
Okay.
You want it to be cool, dark, and quiet.
So like blackout curtains.
Yes. Definitely a blackout curtains.
Okay.
Aim for a room temperature around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Exactly.
Like Goldilocks temperature.
Exactly. And now here's where it gets interesting. While most babies love a quiet environment,
Right.
some actually find white noise soothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it can help block out any other sounds that might disturb them.
Huh.
Have you ever tried white noise?
We did with our little one.
Yeah.
It was like a miracle for a little while. Yeah, we had the sound machine going.
Yeah.
They just instantly calmed down.
It can be really effective.
But I think the big question on everyone's mind is, should we sleep train?
Ah, yes, the million-dollar question.
It is.
And the answer is, it depends.
Of course it depends.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to sleep training,
Right.
and there are so many different methods out there,
So many.
each with its own pros and cons.
Okay, so let's dive into the world of sleep training.
All right, let's do it.
Let's talk methods.
Okay.
I think one that everyone's heard of is the Ferber method.
Right? The Ferber method, sometimes called controlled crying.
Yeah, I've heard about that one.
Yeah.
It could be a little controversial.
It can be. So the idea is to let your baby cry for gradually increasing periods of time
Okay.
before you go in and comfort them.
So it's kind of like the tough love approach
Some people see it that way.
to sleep training.
Yeah. But the goal is to help your baby learn to self-soothe and fall asleep independently.
Okay. So fall asleep on their own?
Yes, but it's definitely not for everyone.
Right.
Some parents find it too stressful.
And you shouldn't do it with babies under 6 months.
Right, exactly, too young.
What about gentler methods?
So on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Pantley method,
Okay.
sometimes called the no tears method.
Okay.
This one focuses on responding to your baby's cries immediately
Okay.
and helping them to calm down in their crib.
So you're not leaving them to cry it out.
The goal is to avoid prolonged crying as much as possible.
Right.
So it's a lot about building that sense of security and trust,
Yeah, that makes sense.
which can take a lot of patience and dedication from the parent,
I bet.
but it can be really effective for some families.
Okay, so that's the Pantley method.
Yeah.
What about co-sleeping?
Right, so co-sleeping, when done safely,
Of course.
can also be an option.
Yeah,
It allows for that close proximity to your baby.
that closeness.
Yeah, and can be beneficial for breastfeeding and bonding,
Right.
but it's really important to follow safety guidelines.
Of course, safety first.
Yes, always.
So it seems like there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to sleep training.
There really isn't. It's about finding what feels right for you and your baby.
And your family,
Exactly.
and experimenting a little bit.
Absolutely. You might find that different methods work better at different stages.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like what works for a newborn might not work for a 6-month-old,
Okay.
and vice versa.
All right, so we tackled sleep training.
Yeah, we did.
But let's be honest, even with the best sleep routine, those middle of the night wake-ups still happen.
Oh, absolutely. Even babies who are sleep trained,
They still wake up.
they still wake up. It's normal.
So is there anything we can do to minimize those wakings?
There are definitely some strategies that can help.
Give me all the strategies.
Okay, so one common culprit for frequent wakings is feeding to sleep.
Oh yeah, rocking them, feeding them to sleep.
Yeah, it works like a charm,
It does.
but it can create some bad habits.
So what do you do instead?
So it's not about letting them cry it out when they're hungry.
Right.
It's about finding a balance.
Okay.
The key is to gradually separate feeding from falling asleep.
So you feed them when they wake up
Exactly. And then you put them down drowsy but awake.
for naps and bedtime
Exactly.
so that they can learn to fall asleep on their own.
Yes, if they learn to do it once, they can do it again.
Right.
And a full feeding right before bed can also help encourage those longer stretches of sleep.
So it's all about kind of figuring out the puzzle
It is. It's like a little puzzle.
of your baby.
It's about understanding your baby's cues.
Finding those little strategies that work for them.
Exactly. And every baby is different, so it takes a little bit of trial and error.
Well, on that note, I think we need to take a little break ourselves.
A little break.
But we'll be right back
Back soon.
to dive into more baby sleep mysteries, including those all-important naps.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
All right, so we're back
Back again.
and ready to tackle another piece of the baby sleep puzzle.
Right.
Naps.
Naps. Yeah.
I've heard so many different things about naps.
Oh, me too.
Some people say they're essential.
Right.
Others say they mess with nighttime sleep.
They interfere.
Yeah.
What's the truth?
So naps are definitely essential for babies.
Okay.
They are like little recharge sessions for their developing brains.
So it's not true that skipping naps equals better nighttime sleep.
That's a myth.
It is.
It is a well-rested baby is more likely to sleep soundly at night.
Okay, so how many naps should a baby be taking?
It depends on their age.
Of course it does.
Newborns, those little sleep champions, they typically need 4 to 5 naps a day.
Wow, that's a lot of napping.
It is, and those naps can last anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple of hours.
Oh,
So yeah, they're getting a lot of sleep.
but as they get older,
Yes,
the number of naps decreases.
exactly. The number and duration gradually decrease.
Okay.
So by 6 months, most babies have transitioned to 2 to 3 naps a day.
Okay.
And around a year old, they usually just need 1 longer nap in the afternoon.
So it's like this constantly evolving sleep schedule.
It is. It's always changing.
Any tips for establishing a good nap routine?
Consistency is key. Just like with bedtime.
Okay.
Try to create a calm and quiet environment for naps.
So like their nighttime sleep space.
Exactly, similar to that.
Right.
And aim to put your baby down for naps at around the same time each day.
To help regulate their internal clock.
Exactly, that's the goal.
So sticking to a schedule can really make a difference.
It can, and don't be afraid to experiment a bit to find what works best for your baby.
Because some babies are different.
Every baby is different.
Some might like to nap in their crib.
Some might prefer a swing or a carrier.
It's all about finding that sweet spot.
Exactly where they feel comfortable and can drift off to sleep easily.
Okay, so we've covered routines,
Yes.
sleep environments,
We have.
training methods, naps.
What else is there?
What else should we be thinking about when it comes to baby sleep?
Believe it or not, nutrition plays a big role.
Really?
It does. It's all connected.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
What your baby eats and when they eat.
Okay,
It can have a surprising impact on their sleep.
so no late night snacks
Probably best to avoid those,
before bed.
especially heavy or stimulating foods close to bedtime.
Okay, no chocolate cake.
No chocolate cake before bed.
Got it. And just like with nighttime sleep, a full feeding right before bed can help.
Yes, it can help encourage those longer stretches of sleep.
It's all about setting them up for success.
Exactly, giving them the best chance to sleep well.
A well-fed baby is a happy baby.
And hopefully a sleepy baby.
Exactly. But speaking of those moments when things just aren't working,
Yes, those tough times.
when we're feeling lost in the sleep-deprived fog,
We've all been there.
when should we seek professional help?
It's important to remember that every baby is different.
Okay.
So what works for one might not work for another.
Right.
If you're concerned about your baby's sleep patterns or development,
Okay.
don't hesitate to reach out to your pediatrician or a sleep consultant.
So what are some red flags?
If your baby's consistently not sleeping for long periods,
Okay.
or experiencing breathing problems during sleep,
Okay.
or not gaining weight adequately.
Those are signs that we need some extra help.
Exactly. Those are signs that it's time to reach out to a professional.
So it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely. You don't have to figure this out alone.
Sometimes it's just reassuring to have someone
In your corner.
who knows what they're doing.
Exactly. Someone who's been there and can offer some guidance and support.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job today of unpacking.
The world of baby sleep.
Yeah, we've covered so much.
We have from those early days of unpredictable sleep,
To routines,
sleep environments,
different training methods,
the importance of naps.
even nutrition.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But as we wrap up our deep dive,
Yes.
I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Okay.
Every baby is unique
They are.
with their own individual needs and preferences.
Absolutely.
Embrace the journey.
Yes.
Be patient with yourself.
And your little one.
And remember that restful nights are within reach.
They are. You can do this.
With a little knowledge, a dash of intuition.
And a whole lot of love.
You've got this.
You do.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
Wow.
It's amazing how much there is to know about baby sleep.
Right. It's a whole world.
We covered so much in this deep dive.
We did.
Routines, environments, training methods, naps, nutrition.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It is a lot to process.
Definitely.
But I think, the biggest takeaway for me is
What's that?
that there's no one size fits all.
Absolute. Every baby's different.
Every baby is different.
Every family's different.
Yeah, what works for one family?
Might not work for another. And that's okay.
That's okay.
There's no right or wrong way.
As long as everybody's safe and healthy,
Exact.
and you're following safe guidelines.
Exact.
So you don't have to be a sleep expert.
No, you don't need a PhD in baby sleep.
Right, just start with the basics.
Yeah, focus on those key things.
Like what?
Creating a calming bedtime routine,
Okay.
a consistent sleep schedule,
Yeah,
and really paying attention to your baby's cues.
so important.
Yeah, they'll tell you what they need.
They will, if you learn to read them.
Exactly.
And it's okay to experiment.
Absolutely. You might find that different things work at different stages.
Right, like what works for a newborn.
Might not work for a 6-month-old.
Totally makes sense.
And vice versa.
And if you're feeling lost,
Yeah,
overwhelmed,
absolutely.
reach out for help.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
There are so many resources.
There are your pediatrician, a sleep consultant, other parents,
Support groups.
online forums. There's so much out there.
So we've given our listeners a lot of information.
We did a deep dive.
A deep dive. But most importantly, a sense of, I hope, empowerment
Yes, I hope so.
to tackle this whole baby sleep thing.
It can feel daunting,
It can.
but you've got this.
You do. You really do.
It's a journey, but it's such a rewarding one.
It is. And remember, you're not alone.
No, you're not alone. So many parents are going through the exact same thing.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with just a few final thoughts.
Okay.
Trust your instincts.
You know your baby best.
You do.
Nobody knows your baby better than you.
Be patient.
Sleep is a process.
It's a journey.
It takes time.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Reach out to your village, your support system.
And finally, remember to cherish those moments.
Yes, even amidst the sleep deprivation.
There's so much joy.
It goes by so fast.
It really does so to all the new parents out there.
Hang in there.
Embrace the journey.
You're doing great.
Trust yourselves.
Restful nights are coming.
They're on their way. Sweet dreams.